Our guest this afternoon is Judge Stephen Angelides, a prominent member of our community, former president of the parish of the Ascension Cathedral in Oakland, and a founding member of the organization GOAL. Welcome to our program, Judge Angelides. We are glad you're here. And tell us a little bit about GOAL, what is GOAL all about, and about the crisis in church that you people are talking about.
Well, thank you very much, Dimitri. I really appreciate this opportunity to be with you. GOAL was founded in November of 1997 in Boston by a group of 40 people, and I was one of the people that was invited because of my work here at the parish level in supporting Father Tom Paris after he was threatened with a year's suspension by the Archbishop. GOAL is a coalition of people brought together really spontaneously. People were working in response to this crisis from a number of different levels and number of different places, and we came together to share our work, to work together to respond to this crisis. There is a crisis indeed. It's caused by the Archbishop and his actions. Unfortunately, at this point, we are also looking at the Patriarchate because it is so apparent now that the Archbishop has divided this church that the question arises, will the Patriarchate help us in this situation?
Can you give us a couple of specific examples as to what went wrong with our Archbishop?
Well, the school was the first big problem that came to light when he fired those 4 professors because they had served on that disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee had found that there was an incident of homosexual misconduct by a priest who was a student there. They wanted to expel this priest, and the Archbishop did not want that. He didn't want the publicity. He asked them to stop, and they said, "We will not stop. We're an academic committee. We've got to do our job according to our procedures." And after that, they were removed from their positions. Mm-hmm. These are 4 men who have served the church for their lives. One of them is a tenured professor of 30 years duration. And it's devastating to these men, to the alumni of the seminary like Father Tom, who felt compelled to speak out, and to all of us who care about the seminary.
What other reasons are there for your movement or your organization? You're talking about this mismanagement, you're talking about an authoritarian ruling from the part of the Archbishop. Can you be a little more specific?
Well, there are many, many specifics. We've got a newspaper here, the GOAL newspaper, which I'm sure most of the viewers have received, which goes into all of this in detail. Let me talk about just 2 more examples here. One is the financial mismanagement. Of course, most people have heard that in the midst of running a deficit, which is not new to the Archdiocese, but which is continuing, the Chancellor of the Archdiocese and the General Council of the Archdiocese worked together to put an offer on a house for $1.4 million for the Archbishop. Now, nobody says the Archbishop shouldn't have a residence. He needs a place to live. But they did this without any authority by the Executive Committee of the Archdiocesan Council. And they put down a $139,500 deposit, which was non-refundable. And so when it came to the Executive Committee, it was voted down 15-1, not because people didn't think the Archbishop should have a house, but because of the arrogant manner in which this was done. And so the church lost, the Archdiocese lost $139,500. It was non-refundable. Now they're in litigation over that. I hope they can get the money back. There's insurance that may come into play for the misconduct of directors and officers, but we shouldn't have to face this kind of a situation. We should be following the procedures. If they had brought this up for a proper vote, I have no doubt the Archbishop would have gotten his residence. It's the heavy-handed tactics, the arrogance, the total disregard for rules and procedures that has gotten us into this mess. The other example is the example of the treatment of our metropolitans and the status of the metropolitanates. At the Clergy Lady Congress, I just got back, several of the dioceses had passed proposals for these metropolitans who were named metropolitans of the Fanar to be named metropolitans of their diocese. That had come from the diocesan Clergy Lady Assemblies to the Clergy Lady Congress, and that's the proper procedure for charter changes. Well, Father Dragus, who was a leading figure at the seminary, went to his friend in Athens, Father Vivas, and got a canonical opinion which said that the metropolitans were doing this for their own benefit, and that no bishop shall be allowed to do such a thing. If anyone shall attempt to do so, he shall forfeit his own rank. So we weren't even permitted to discuss this issue at the Clergy Lady Congress. And as Metropolitan Isaiah said in the plenary session, well, we got the answer before we asked the question.